first, we want to introduce our format. So what you'll see today is a presenter on stage. They'll present their business, and then afterwards they'll come down. We'll have two expert panelists, and they will ask questions, and then you all have the opportunity to ask questions. If you just make your way over to the mic right over here on the side, then the speakers can answer questions. Also, if you haven't already, download the app on your phone, the 1 Million Cups app, and make sure that you check in. The app is pretty cool too, because it also, if you miss your question over there, you can ask a question on the app directly to the presenter, or you can give them feedback. And that's why they're here, to get all the awesome feedback from us. So make sure you check in on the app and give feedback to the presenter. We'd like to introduce our organizers. I'm all alone up here on stage. That's never happened. Usually there's a whole line of us, but if you wave your hand, all our organizers in the crowd. We make all this possible. So if you're interested in becoming an organizer or a caffeinator, make sure you check in with Billy back there in the back afterwards, because we could use some more help. Let's see here. Welcome Wyandotte High School in the building. Yeah. Young entrepreneurs. Since I have the mic, I'm not supposed to do this, but I have the mic, so I ask for forgiveness later. This is my son, Angelo, stand up. He's 12. He's a youth entrepreneur. He has a food handler's license and his own catering company. So just some motivation for the high schoolers in here. He's only 12, so you guys can do it too. Our expert panel. Xander, if you want to give us a little background on who you are.
Sure. My name is Xander Winkle. I work with the Innovation Center. Who's familiar with the Innovation Center? So a lot of folks who are. So we are we are a traditional business incubator. So we provide commercial kitchen space, offices, non-food manufacturing space, and we also help folks with that process of getting started and growing their business.
All right, Miss Stephanie Campbell.
I've had decidedly less caffeine than that, so I will try to amp it up. I'm Stephanie Campbell, and I'm the Director of Innovation Programs for Lean Lab Education. We focus on sourcing and training those entrepreneurs that are creating solutions that align back to the most pressing problems in our underserved schools, specifically in Kansas City. So thanks for having me today.
All right, and we will introduce our first presenter, Dave Ogle with IBEC.
Okay, Mom. Okay, thanks for having me. My name is Dave Ogle. I'm the creator and founder of IBEC and the Net Positive rooftop and split system air conditioning systems. I'm a lifelong air conditioning technician, mechanic. I worked for my dad, who owned an HVAC company. I started working on commercial HVAC equipment when I was about 9 years old. I've been doing it my entire life. Over the past 30 years, especially watching my dad, I would listen to him constantly go on and on about, these things are designed to fail. We would have people calling us in the middle of the night at our house, coming by looking for my dad. And he would explain to them, that thing went out again, it's not supposed to. He would come up with all kinds of different ways to make air conditioning work. And as a young kid, I didn't know what planned obsolescence was. But over the years, I've certainly learned it. And we've learned how to build an air conditioning system that doesn't break down and uses very little energy. So these days, we've got lots of modern technology. I'm one of the application engineers and designers of the Halo magnetic blower system. This is revolutionary. This is using high-density magnets to repel and attract one another across stator coils to turn a turbine to blow air. Revolutionary, uses very little energy, and a new emerging technology. Also inverter drives. These are devices that can speed control motors, and it soft starts them. Very, very efficient for running compressors and other motor loads and things like that. Okay, so when you purchase air conditioning equipment, when you own it, you're going to go through 3 phases of cost. And this is the purchase of the equipment, the energy consumption, the utility costs, which you cannot avoid, and then the cost of ownership. This is service calls, repair work, things like that. Planned obsolescence, it's really expensive. So there's a lot of money to save if you can remove planned obsolescence. So when we set out to design these systems that we build in Lawrence, Kansas, we wanted to make them affordable. We wanted to get the highest efficiency possible with the most recent technology that we have. So the systems that we build use up to 82% less energy, and we target a SEER rating, which is a seasonal energy efficiency ratio of about 26 to 30 SEER. It's extremely efficient. And no spiking, no power coming up, surging, no blinking lights when the air conditioner comes on. It uses a lot of power when things spike and come on really hard. Our systems are all soft start. They come up really slow. They come to a point to run, modulate, and then they slowly speed back down. Lowest cost of ownership with the highest dependability. We build them for a 25-year service life compared to typical air conditioning, which is about 12 to 15 years. Okay, so what's all this worth? So over the last year, we've done a lot of calculations trying to figure out, well, if we can remove planned obsolescence and the cost of it, and then if we can save 74 to 82% energy, well, what kind of formula can we come up with? What is this worth? So what we did is we took the avoided costs of ownership, all the expenses that you would normally incur with traditional air conditioning, and the energy cost savings, and we added them together. So based on a lot of data mining, we talked to building owners, my former customers, other contractors. We formulated an an avoided cost of ownership with an energy cost savings with this formula: $7,600 per ton over 25 years at 13 cents per kilowatt hour blended rate. Air conditioning is sized by the ton. It's the capacity of cooling that you have in the system. Most homes have like 2 to 3 tons. A large building might have 50 or 60 tons. It just kind of depends on the size and square footage. So an example of a 20-ton system and net present value of the systems that we build. 20-ton systems are really common. There's probably one across the street right now in operation. $7,600 times 20 tons is $152,000 in net present value. If you take that and divide it over 25 years, you've got $6,080 annual. Traditional HVAC has no net present value. It's going to do nothing but cost you money and energy costs to operate it. Then we bring in the utility rebates. KCP&L rebates our systems because they're so efficient and they don't spike in demand. They have figured out that we have figured out, and we know that they know, that it's cheaper to reduce demand than it is to build another power plant, which would cause more carbon emissions, things like that. It's better to just reduce the demand than it is to keep building more power plants. So they provide tremendous rebates for our systems. So out the door, our 20-ton system is about $29,600. They give us over a $5,000 rebate. So we're looking at about $24,500 on a system divided by 6,080 with a 4-year return on investment. That's pretty good. So with all these emerging technologies, the utility rebates together, we're striving to build and continue building these systems for high efficiency, lower carbon emissions, and to provide people with an air conditioning system that's based on their model, not the manufacturer's model, which they're building air conditioners for themselves. They want them to break down, have to be replaced, use a lot of energy, but we're trying to build the air conditioning based on your model, which is high dependability and low energy costs. So right now, a 20-ton system has a rebate of about $5,000 from KCP&L and Greater Missouri, Ameren, most of Missouri. This is my point of contact. I know the screen might be hard to read, but we're located in Lawrence, Kansas. I encourage you guys, if you ever want to come out and see how we build these, go to our website. There's lots of photographs of how we go through the systems and build them and customize them for each customer. And thank you for your time and your presentation.
So first of all, thank you very much for coming in here this morning. Obviously, and from the website, from your presentation, you have a lot of experience in shows. That's incredible. I want to my first question, I want to kind of get into the business model itself. And just correct me at any point that I'm not saying this right. But from what I gather, the original, so you're a service provider. You're putting these together.
Installing them, bringing them into buildings. But on the other side, you've got this patented, correct?
Yeah.
Device that you've invented. So you're also a product manufacturer.
Right.
Can you kind of talk about that part of the business? How's that going to grow? Are you going to separate those two things? Because they're two different business models,
right,
between the product manufacturer and the service provider. Can somebody who is not going through you get the component that you've put together somewhere on the coast that is outside of your service area and
Right.
that kind of thing?
Yeah. They are very proprietary. We have a training facility in Omaha, Nebraska with an engineering firm that designs our controllers. So we take technicians to Omaha and we train them there. We just sold a unit in Rhode Island the other day. And so we've got a guy out there that he's right now learning the systems. The unit just got shipped out, so he's got to open it up and look at it and understand it. We service what we sell, and then if we can't service it, if it's out of state or if it's hundreds of miles away, then we'll train someone to understand how to work on them. Like to answer your question, the development of either being a manufacturer of the product or building air conditioning, we've got our hands in all of it, and we kind of have to. It's very different, and the people that come to our facility, they come from all over the country, they're just astounded at this kind of technology. They didn't know about it. They said, where has this been for the last 70 years? And this is a development of my frustration. It's a model of my way of thinking on air conditioning. We can build dependable vehicles and we can put people in space, but we can't build an air conditioner that doesn't break down. Come on.
That leads well into the question I wanted to ask, which is, you fall under one of my favorite categories of entrepreneurs, which is those who created a better mousetrap.
right.
And better mousetraps require a lot of iteration. Can you speak a little bit to that process of trial and error and testing and failing and learning?
Oh my gosh. If you've been on a service call at 3 o'clock in the morning on a building with a building owner freaking out because the air conditioning is down, it's pretty wild. Everybody's got air conditioning. And a lot of people don't think about it until they don't have it. And when they don't have it, they go berserk. They freak out. So the mousetrap, was built on years and years of service work and looking at systems and watching individual components as they fail and correcting those components. So the model was built from years and years of service calls, to build a system that just doesn't break down. We treat the unit like a piece of aircraft. If you open up an airplane, you'll find that they don't use cheap little wire connectors and small little, everything is really secured. It is soldered. They use stainless steel terminals to bolt the wiring lugs down, things like that. Really extreme dependability. And so that's the model we use for the wiring systems in our air conditioning, which is where most of the failures are.
And that brings up another question. I'm curious, is there a third party that inspects, validates, gives certain accreditations to HVAC systems?
Right. Yeah, it's a AHRI. It's a government-operated. It's a private institution, but it's government controlled to test and monitor the efficiency of air conditioning. And we're going through that process right now. We've developed our line of air conditioners, and we've tested them in the lab. We've had the Department of Energy out to our facility. We've had independent testing done on our systems, and we can't find a competitive system out there. There's nothing this good, this efficient, or this dependable in the market right now.
And that leads well into my next question, which is, I heard you mention the importance of reducing carbon emissions.
Right.
Can you speak a little bit to your personal why you are driven to reduce carbon emissions? I'm just curious.
Yeah, my time in China and Mongolia, they have some of the worst air quality in the world. And at the rate we're going in the United States, this is where we're going to be if we keep building power plants and keep burning coal if we don't change our demand. Energy is one thing. Energy is what it takes to kind of float. Demand is power. It's what it takes to get up. An airplane that takes off to go to 30,000 feet, that's power. Energy is just kind of sustained like this. So we need to turn our energy into our demand. And if we can do that, we can clean up our air, we can take the stress off the grid, we can keep from damaging other electronic components. When things spike really hard on the grid, they damage things. It's like me snapping you with a rubber band, it hurts. So that's what happens to substations, transformers, the grid. You wonder why one day my computer doesn't work, it won't turn on. There might be a reason why. It might have been a power surge or a spike or a voltage drop that caused this issue and damaged your electronics.
So I just want to say, like, I love the fire and passion that you just gave me in response to that question. I think it'd be amazing if you incorporated that into your presentation. I would love to hear more about your personal why and vision in that presentation as well in the future.
Agreed completely. Yes, definitely use that as part of the brand, part of how you are selling this, and on the website too. I mean, my one criticism, doing my homework, the website has amazing information, but the navigation on it and some of that personal touch to it too would be fantastic. Going to another topic on the patent, on the product itself.
Right.
How can you tell us a little bit about that process? It sounds like you have not had to defend it, or is that part of the business? Do you want to? If it's more mission based, is this something that you want to see more of? Just your thought process and business strategy there.
Yeah, the technology has been around for a long time. Some of the first implementations of magnetic propulsion technology were in trains, like the levitating train out at Disneyland that goes around. Okay, that was built in the late 70s, I think. It's been around a long time. The railroads used it in locomotives. Then we started seeing it in really large motor systems, but nobody ever thought, hey, let's put this into air conditioning. So around 2009, I began building prototypes in my shop, and I went to an engineering trade show out in Las Vegas and met these people. They were called Tailwind Energy, and they had been developing the exact same things I've been developing. And I was stunned when I looked at some of the prototypes and said, you guys, we gotta get together, man. And so between 2009 and 2012, we worked on different prototypes, and they were based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. I was in Lawrence, Kansas, so we were going back and forth, and their engineers were coming out, and I was going out there, and we were having heated arguments and debates about how exactly to model this. And we had about 8 different prototypes, then we narrowed it down to 2, and then the Halo technology was the one that I chose to get the application patent in for our air conditioning systems. It was the most applicable and worked the best. We have other technologies we've developed, and we've got some stuff coming out of the gate that's going to blow people's minds. Larger motor drive systems.
Excellent strategy. Leave us wanting more, but I think we want to open it up to the audience for some questions now.
Sure. Go ahead.
Does sound like a really cool and unique product. Let's see here. There we go. Is that better? Okay. So it does sound like a really cool product. I used to work for a company here in town that was working on a microgrid management product, so I really understood a lot of what you were talking about. Was kind of really intrigued because it is, like you say, very, very unique. But one of the problems with the unique product is adoption.
Yeah.
So what's your goal for the next 5 years? Especially as he pointed out, you're running 2 separate businesses here. So
Right.
what's your goal for really getting consumers to adopt this and get your product out to a wider market in the next 5 years?
Yeah, getting the word out there. There's 16 million air conditioners between 3 and 30 tons in operation on rooftops right now. If people know that there's an option with the utility rebates when they go to change them out, they'll use our equipment. If they don't, it's simply because they just don't know about it. So marketing is a huge deal. We're at a point now where we've spent a year of design development and construction. We sold a lot of units. We have about 250 units out right now. But we're looking at this now, like we need to go back to marketing nationwide. We need to let everybody know that, there's about 1 million air conditioners that get changed out every year. So the market share is huge. It's about $700 billion.
So you're saying marketing's your plan for the next 5 years? I mean, like,
Marketing through
where are you
utility
heading out
companies.
with that then? Like, have you got a marketing company? Are you looking for somebody? Like,
I did. I found a group in Topeka that's really interested in taking it on. And we're going to work through utility companies nationwide to let their customers know. And the ones that are adopting rebates all the time right now are the ones we're targeting. Connecticut has the best rebates in the country right now for whatever reason.
Hey Dave, great idea. This seemed like you have a bit of mousetrap, and I kind of have related questions. So you are a designer, you're a manufacturer, you're also an installer. So how are you business planning the future of your company? What are the next steps? And what do you have to do to overcome them? Because it seems like you're talking about lack of appreciation for what you've done, and that severely affects your adoption rate. So have you thought, for example, of doing partnerships with utility companies? I remember a long time ago, long before carbon was even an issue, where electric companies would actually market efficient systems, not just HVAC systems. So have you thought about that? So how many different prongs are you looking at for this adoption? Because I don't think a single thing like better social media or better magazine advertising or whatever it is that you come up with is going to be the sole way you're going to get to achieve, I think, what sounds like a really impressive product's potential.
Yeah, you're right. Working through the utility providers is probably the key thing. Marketing in those areas where there are already existing rebates, and then running point with the utility company itself and working with them to inform their consumers, their ratepayers, that there is a rebate for these types of systems, and they have everything to gain with this because they are all trying to reduce demand. And air conditioning, climate control in general is about 50% of the power in the entire United States. It's big. So if you can attack that animal first, it's the big gorilla to get the demand down. And working with the utility. So the unit that we sold in Rhode Island, it's part of a pilot project. There's going to be a white paper written about the energy use. It's a small unit. It's going on a building in Warwick, Rhode Island. And National Grid Power is going to showcase this as a pilot project and introduce it to ratepayers. So we expect some pretty good sales on the East Coast.
Great presentation. You have several different potential buyers, commercial, residential, new build versus replacement. Where are you seeing the most traction?
You know, it's funny. We'll go through a phase of selling brand new units, and then we'll go through a phase of doing retrofits. So we originally started out doing retrofit of existing units because it was an easy sell. It was less expensive, better payback. And if a unit's already on a rooftop and it's only a couple years old, well, it makes sense to just go ahead and take it apart, open it up, and go through it and do the retrofit. It's really time consuming. We can build them faster and newer in the facility. So it's been kind of 50-50 retrofit versus new systems, but we want to focus more so on new systems for change out. And change out's really fast. It's just a crane, two guys, pick it, switch it out, boom, done.
So I have a question about expansion. When you start to sell more units nationwide, have you thought about having regional or satellite offices in different regions so that when you have those issues, technical issues or service issues, you're able to provide better customer service because you have someone that's nearby in that region?
Yeah, good question. We have about 150 people nationwide that have been briefly trained over a 2-day period about how these systems work, all over the country, from Oklahoma City, Southern California, Hawaii, and we have our monthly meetings in Omaha, Nebraska with the electrical engineering firm that we directly work with, and we bring everybody together, 2 days of training, and everybody goes home. So we do that monthly. So right now, 156 different people nationwide that fully understand exactly how these work, the design around them.
I know that running a business is kind of hard, and I know you might want to quit sometimes. What's something that inspired you to keep on going?
I'm sorry, what was that? Inspired me to go?
Keep on,
Keep
that hard. Keep
You
going.
just keep pushing. You get up and you fight it. We've run into lots of problems, headaches, trouble. We've, certain components that we thought would work didn't, or that we couldn't source them. We had a company in Germany that was building a certain electrical component, and they just stopped building it one day. And so we had to figure out a way to source that. Yeah, supply chain. I'm extremely determined, and 30 years of dealing with air conditioning systems designed to fail. I take it on as a battle. That I'm going to build a system that doesn't fail and uses very little energy.
Final question, what can we as a community do for you? What can we as a community do for you?
For me, just to let people know, everybody's got air conditioning. So in the event of a potential change out, I just want people to know that there's this option that's there. And what we do is, if you have a particular, like a Train, a Carrier, a York brand unit, and it's due for a change out, let's say it's 15 years old, if they know about us, we can take that existing frame, we will go purchase the York unit that switches out on the unit that's on the roof, and we'll build that with our design so that it can be directly changed out. It just takes a couple of hours. It's amazing that in 2 hours you can reduce your HVAC energy by up to 80% with a direct change out. I just want people to know that the option's there. A lot of people don't.
So thank you very much. Let's give me a hand.
We started out doing strictly commercial, but the demand for residential was huge. So we built, I think last month we built 9 residential systems and shipped them all over the place. Yep.
Thank you.
Time for our announcements. Miss Abby.
All right, we have a few announcements. First, we have Lauren.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, that's right. So I am Lauren Conaway. I am Director of Operations for the Kansas City Startup Foundation. And I am here to talk to you about civic engagement and entrepreneurship. So Kansas City Startup Foundation and Project United Knowledge, we are actually holding a mayoral forum on February 26th. It's actually going to be right here, Plexpod Westport Commons in the Medallion Theater. We would love to see you there, and I'm going to give you a link to RSVP here in a minute. But I do want to tell you that being an entrepreneur is hard. And you guys, you struggle with some pretty unique things. You have issues that you really need our civic leaders to focus on and to understand. And so for this particular mayoral forum, what we're doing, instead of having the candidates tell us what they think, we are actually going to tell them as the entrepreneurial community. So we are actually currently collecting survey data from entrepreneurs. We have the links posted up at Start the News. Project United Knowledge is pushing it out. Kansas City Startup Foundation is pushing it out. We would really like your help because we're going to use this information to determine what kind of questions we ask the candidates and what we ask them to pitch to us. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of links if you don't mind hanging steady with me. If you would like to take the survey, and we would really, really appreciate it, it's a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/mayoral forum survey 2019, all lowercase. And then if you would like to come to the event on the 26th, it's from 6 to 8, right here in the Medallion Theater. Thank you very much, Plexpod. And that link to RSVP for tickets is 2019 Mayoral Forum. Anybody need me to repeat those? Raise your hand. So the survey is bit.ly/mayoral forum survey 2019. And the RSVP link is bit.ly 2019 Mayoral Forum. And we really hope to see you guys fill out the survey. Tell us what you need. Tell your civic leaders and your future mayor what you need. And we really hope to see you at the event. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lauren. All right, next we're going to see what's new with our friends at Start the News.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Startline News reporter Austin Barnes here. Let's take a look at today's top stories. KC cooked startup Mommy Meals aims to serve impact, not just dinner. Attempting to tackle postpartum depression one hot plate at a time, says co-founder Mitch Case. Fresh off a 1 Million Cups presentation, Case and co-founder Ben Williams hitting the ground running. The pair says feedback they received has helped them look at ways to prepare meals delivered straight to the doors of new moms with dietary restrictions in mind. Celebrating Kansas City pride and promoting top talent. Just two of the reasons retailer Made in KC has been named 2019's Team KC MVP. The honor, announced during Team KC's annual talent summit late last week, celebrates Made in KC's commitment to supporting local makers and entrepreneurs. Half of all Americans have a chronic illness, says former TerraCrunch co-founder Dr. Kevin Payne. A somber reality paired with uninvolved physicians makes quality of life tough for patients. Now it's the focus of Payne's new venture, Chronic Cow. For more on the company and other startup news, visit startlandnews.com.
At our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter too, at 1 Million Cups KC. Real quick announcement, our wonderful hosts here at FlexSpot offer free co-working after 1 Million Cups every single Wednesday. Head over to the annex for that. I also wanted to let you know that the lawyers at Hush Blackwell are doing open office hours from 10 to 12 today over in the annex. That's right, a lawyer wants to talk to you for free. Take advantage of that. Thanks so much.
All right, last announcement. Kaufman's State of Entrepreneurship on February 27th will be here after 1 Million Cups. All right. Woo! So our next presenter is the Nelle. The Nelle is an urban social club focusing on creating elevated lifestyle experiences for women in Kansas City. So please help me welcome Sierra with the Nelle.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sierra Miramontes, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for letting me join you this morning. I am a born and bred Kansas City woman, former D1 athlete, and one of the co-founders at the Nelle. The Nelle is focused on elevating women in the Kansas City community by centralizing a location where the movers and shakers can connect with one another. So, I am extremely passionate about this project. My passion is helping to support women in the workforce as well as female entrepreneurs. There is a soft spot in my heart for every woman and every entrepreneur out there who feels the desire to go out and fulfill a need. Currently, my role at Ernst & Young, I find myself very passionate about building strategic relationships and empowering others to use their network for good. So my purpose met my passion when I was able to connect with my business partner Lauren, and we were able to start the Nelle. So for me, this opportunity in the market is a gaping hole that we're hoping to fulfill. And a lot of people ask us why we're doing this, and frankly, it's about damn time we thought somebody did something about women in the workplace. So, but before we get into that, I just want to highlight, in our market, there's two major competitors right now. Two of them along the coast, so I'm not sure if you can see, but along the west coast is a club called the Riveter. They're hoping to challenge WeWork in the co-working space. On the east coast is a club called The Wing, which is a women's social club exclusively for women. Of these two clubs combined in the market, they have about 10 current locations in the first 2 years that they've started. They're hoping to grow 16 more each in the next 2 years. Combined, both of them have raised around $138 million in venture capital dollars. This is not like mom and pop venture capital firms. This is Golden Seed, Sequoia, celebrities like Kerry Washington. Actually, as of today, I know that WeWork owns a quarter of The Wing. So they're really looking to expand even overseas with this model. So there is big dollars being spent right now, but they're still along the coast and they're gonna eventually make their way towards the middle. Our long-term vision is to be able to be placed strategically in the middle. We don't have to move very far, but be able to position ourselves in a way that aligns with these brands already, but then also be groomed for partnerships in the future. By positioning ourselves in a way that we're able to connect and collaborate with these different groups, as well as the brands within our region, we feel like we'll be groomed for partnerships in the next year. So, going forward and how we're going to do this, we will open our very first location here in Kansas City. We have located a 14,000 square foot space in the Quality Hill area of town. Our goal is to have a very economically friendly budget of roughly $150,000 in tenant finish build out. looking to secure this in the next year, and for all of our investors have a 1.5 year payback period. This location would allow us to house about 450 members, getting our revenues up over $1 million within the first year. So next steps, after opening our first location, we would add a critical hire to our already amazing team. So we have myself leading on the operations side. We have a awareness builder and my business partner, Lauren. We would also then hire our first experience builder or chief hospitality officer. This individual will be heavily responsible for creating experiences for our members, as well as bringing in and training staff that would serve clients first. So for us, the most important thing is our members and the experience that our members get, helping to empower them and feel like they are at home and supported throughout their day-to-day. So after we filled our first location, memberships run about $2,300 a year. That's an average of $185 a month. 450 members would put us at over $1 million in revenue. Once we're able to do that, we will plan on continuing with our marketing strategy of strategic relationships and partnerships with brands such as Sunlight and Saunas, J. Rieger Whiskey, Thou Mayest Coffee. We've got companies on board that are looking to sponsor their employees and female executives to belong to the Nelle. And then also looking to spread and connect in other cities that are very similar to Kansas City. From there, our goal is to simply rinse and repeat. So looking to some other similar areas around the region, not looking to grow too far out of the Midwest so that we can help develop these areas closest to us. They're also not as attractive locations for larger city targets, such as where the wing started in New York City. They would probably prefer to partner with someone in Kansas City who has that network versus come and try and build their own network themselves. Looking at Chicago, Houston, Denver, Dallas, and the Tulsa market is booming currently. So that is our goal. Our game plan is in the next 2 to 3 years, hopefully open up 6 locations following a very similar model that we have here. So currently, our ask 1 million cups is to help us get introductions to strategic partners. We're looking for investors, we're looking for brand partnerships, or advisors that can help us in this endeavor. There's a demand for what we're looking to do here in the city. There is not a place for female executives to come and gather on a consistent basis. Lots of companies don't even have female executives that younger women can look up to. My particular company has 15 male executives and none of them are female at my own company. Most people coming out of college choose to not go to certain companies because they don't see women in leadership positions there. So we're looking to change that by centralizing that hub and then being able to collaborate and help coach young leadership groups throughout the city. We're also looking to raise $250,000 in seed financing from investors. Those individuals would also be able to help us scale and grow from there. And then we're also looking for members. If you know of a high-powered mover and shaker in town that's doing great things, that's going against the grain and being uncomfortable, we want to know her. Other people want to know her. And we hope that you're as excited as we are to see the Nelle open up, and let us know what you think. We don't have all the answers, but women tend to be right. So I have a feeling that we know what we're doing. So thank you very much.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
I love presentations rooted in numbers, and both of ours were today. Lesson for everybody, know your numbers. Good job. So you mentioned the pricing model. What I didn't hear you talk a lot about was sort of the hardware, software benefits of being involved in the program. What do I get out of the physical space, the hardware metaphor? And programmatically, what's the support, the software of the organization?
So the Nelle, rooted in a brick and mortar space, it's really about, how do you create experiences to connect with other people? And I think for a lot of people, it's you can go to coffee shops, you can go to network events, but a lot of times it feels clunky. For us, it's about creating a home base for you to feel like you can be at ease. And in that, it's essentially real estate. You are renting real estate like you would in co-working. You would rent a desk. You get that built-in network around you. That hardware then is, we've already pre-screened everyone who's in there. And you're getting a network of individuals built in who are either looking to help you in some capacity, they're looking to give back in some capacity, but they're also looking for individuals as well. A lot of the amenities that we're looking to provide are very common things throughout the day-to-day of a busy woman. So you want to get your nails done, blowout, you want to get a workout in, a yoga class. I am probably the first person to skip a workout. But if I knew that it was right down the street and I wasn't paying for it, or I had an hour, I had a meeting get canceled, I could run over to the Nelle, run into a couple of my mentors, ask them a couple questions about something going on in my day, but it's that built-in convenience of having that support system built in, but in an infrastructure where everything I'm going to do anyway is all in one place, so I don't have to run around town anymore.
Thank you for taking the lead on this conversation. I'm obviously not the target market.
Don't exclude yourself. Don't exclude yourself.
First of all, may I say, you did a fantastic job putting together this brand, giving it personality. I had assumed that this was an existing business, that you were rocking and rolling, you're in publication, so I think that just speaks to your experience and skills. So off to a fantastic start. One of my questions, because you have a business model, like you were saying before, you're renting space, but you also have a very strong mission. And not so you've got inclusion, you've got community, but that's butting against the business model to some capacity of selling space. How do you, and those are certainly not mutually exclusive, but it's a difficult balance to strike. So I'm kind of curious, how are you striking that balance?
I think there is always this question in your career as a female of, how do I learn from other women who are successful? You can have male mentors, but a lot of women want to be successful, but they don't know how. There's also this other side of in a woman's life where she might have children, and you're faced with this challenge of, do I become a career working woman, or do I become a mother, or do I choose the difficult journey of doing both? And what we're finding is there are needs that women feel like they need to have other women surrounding them. And so what we're looking to do is, can we find this beautiful intersection to help you, if you choose, to stay connected? It's very isolating a lot of times that we've found for women to either start their own companies if they have young children at home and they want to stay home and work, but they're losing that social interaction, you're losing those social skills. So yes, there could be a career component attached to it, but at the end of the day, it's women want to connect with other women. We're just making it more beautiful and more comfortable in the long run.
So I think I fall in maybe your gateway funnel of this. I feel like the needs of a lot of these women are being met through some of the professional organizations they're in, and then also like a marriage hybrid between country clubs and then gyms like, One Light, and I belong to Woodside, and I'm there 6 days a week. I don't have a lot of time left after those things. I'm wondering, what's your strategy to allow people who want the benefit of being surrounded by women who've achieved, who can match the $185 price point per month? Like, how are you getting people into the funnel who want to be around those women but maybe aren't quite there yet?
So we are finding that individuals who are attracted to this are doing things throughout their day in the community. And a lot of times, so for example, a lot of my mentors, I wasn't finding them at a local gym. I wasn't finding them at a coffee shop. Their business meetings were either taking place at their own offices, or they were too tired at the end of the day to go to any happy hours. They weren't on panels. And there is an amazing support system, I think, for programming and things you can go and do, but I myself was finding that I was too tired for happy hour. And I didn't want to just go to happy hour every single day of the week or just go to coffee. My day does not stop. And I have this little amount of time to go to something that's between 2 and 6. I can't meet the women that have young children that need to pick them up after school. So then it's, you start to realize, if you're prioritizing your career and you want to meet the best of the best, or you want to meet those mentors who have solved complex problems or are doing challenging things, I just wasn't finding them. What's attractive to this is it's not that many people. It's only 450 spots. And what we're looking for are the best of the best. But when you know it's something, it's that in marketing, you want what you can't have. It's not that you can't go and sign up for a gym, but you have to go through an application process. For us, we want to know, are you in the right mindset to do something like this? And one bad egg could spoil the bunch. So for us, it's about carefully finding those individuals and selecting people to bring into this community who have shown success, who we know that are amazing in lots of components. It's something that it's not meant to be for everyone. And it's more meant to be that we can groom those leaders to then go out and help other leadership groups, other women's groups. But time is so precious for a lot of these women, and so if we're allowing them to get one thing done throughout the rest of their week, if it's their nails or something, then that's attractive to them.
Yeah, so recruitment and selection and matriculation is something that I do a lot of. I'd be really interested in learning more about your process, how you plan to recruit, select, matriculate, what specific attributes are you looking for in people joining the club?
Yeah, so we have individuals that we had partnered with at the beginning. I could name drop Erica Moody because she's here from Helix, but a lot of the women who mean business were our target demographic. Lots of CEOs of nonprofit companies were our target demographic as well. So early on, we partnered with the Women's Foundation and Wendy Doyle, understanding what do we feel like would make an attractive location. And we started paneling female executives in Kansas City and female leaders and movers and shakers and what they were doing. What do they feel like they're missing? And a lot of the times it was, I don't have a space where I can go and have a private meeting and not be overheard. There's too many restaurants where, people know I'm doing business there. So for us it was, is this individual doing something in the community that we felt like was of merit, or they've had some sort of success that would be attractive to be able to say, like, yes, they've had some success in their career, they'd be able to help learn and support with others. We're also asking them, what are you doing to give back in the community? A lot of women serve on boards. A lot of them are mentoring, they're running programs in their own companies, but really making sure that you're there for the right reasons. So a lot of our questions are just around, why would you even want to belong in this sort of network? I mean, I'm visualizing our application process, but it's a part of that where, what are you doing in the community? What do you feel like you've done to get here? Kind of what would be your ideal place that you could belong to? And a lot of women started to align with very similar amenities, and so we use that data to help create the experience that we're going to put into this first location.
Okay, now we'll turn it over to the audience.
Quick question, because I know we're running out of time. I'm a huge advocate for the youth. So do you guys have anything built in your process to help the young youth entrepreneur, the young woman who is a future leader in your membership and in our community?
Yeah, so we have some strategic partnerships with some individuals. So with Women's Foundation, they have a high school young leaders board. We also have an individual from Big Brothers Big Sisters who's going to champion a young female leadership group. I think a lot of what our programming plans are is going to be driven by our members and what our members want to lead versus us coming up with the programming. So nothing formalized, but I think for us, it's, we've talked with the Girl Scouts, but there's lots of partnerships we have with art galleries around town as well. And I think being able to educate younger women in the city about culture in Kansas City, but then also going forward, how do you develop those business acumen? How do you develop that business acumen at a younger age? I grew up, my mom was a teacher, my dad was an engineer, and I decided to be a business major, and I had no idea how to network. So I think being able to have women bring their daughters to things, having it be very child-friendly in our environment as well, Having a kids room is a huge draw for women for us. Being able to, my business partner, you know, she has 4 little girls, and so they're excited about having jobs at the Nelle, which I don't know if it's a violation of child labor laws or anything, but I'm putting them to work. But they're excited, you know, at the fact that 1, their mom is starting a company, but 2, they would be able to come up with a curriculum or some programming that we'd be able to implement. So those are the things we plan on, and being very open with what our members are hoping to do as well.
Well, it sounds just incredible. And my question for you is, what are you doing during this kind of chicken and the egg period where you don't have your space yet, but you're adding members? How do you add value and provide, you know, that space and those amenities to your members prior to actually having your location built out and creating that space?
It has been like the biggest chicken and the egg debate since we've started. So for us, it's we've spent a lot of time one-on-one with our members and getting to know them personally. I think for them, you know, finding a value add of what are they looking for within our community, but then also, you know, what are they hoping to do? And a lot of women really just want someone to say, hey, I understand how you feel. Can I help you in any way? And so it's for us, it's been, we can connect women who are existing members. We've done some smaller gatherings to get people introduced, but also we've really just felt like everyone's been really interested in what we've been doing, so we've been including our members along the process with us. So we showed them our early concept designs. We've asked for their feedback. I mean, we've taken every single note that everyone has given us and incorporated that into our vision. So it's not just Lauren and Sierra creating, it's really been a community effort. And so for us, our members feel like they've been along on this journey with us the entire time. We've also been able to provide discounts at Sunlight and Saunas, introducing them to the types of amenities we're looking to provide. But you know, I think being able to create those experiences and introduce the partnerships has gotten people really excited. So Crossroads Hotel is one of our favorite spots there. They've provided us with a beautiful room to have a cocktail event right before the holidays. But you know, introducing people to new spaces and experiences. But I think really it's just been that one-on-one interaction with everyone that they've really felt like has been the value add in our chicken and egg little debate here.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here. Just so you know, like I and a few other women in this room are founders of a women's innovation group.
Awesome.
Female startup founders. So I have been watching what you've been doing with great interest, and what you're doing is so very necessary. Now Daddy Joe over here told me that I only get 1 question, even though I have 2, so I have to pick. But so one of
put
the
them in
things,
one long question.
Yeah, like here, part A is so one of the things that we struggle with as a women's organization is explaining the equity versus equality thing. Well, why don't we just make sure that the most qualified person gets the job? How come you women get special things? And so I guess I'm just curious, like, how do you answer that question? Because I'm still kind of struggling to answer it a little bit.
It's a very, very good question.
I have like a million, so we can talk later.
I think, you know, for us, it was at the beginning, you know, when I met my business partner, you know, she came from a Chicago, New York kind of background. And in those larger cities, like a club is like a very normal thing. For me, I always felt like there was a gap in support for women. And I will say, you know, a lot of times throughout my career, you know, it's always, well, don't just give women the job because she's a woman. Is she qualified? And I think it has almost become now a conversation of how do we marry the two? Because there's also LGBTQ, you know, all of these other things. We have a lot of, you know, men that are interested in the Nelle. There's lots of men who get spa treatments. But for us, it was, there have always been other spaces for people of like-mindedness to get together. For us, it was about, we can't make everyone happy. We decided that we want to focus on women. We're not excluding anyone throughout that day-to-day. We know that men are in our lives, other women are in our lives, but taking care of yourself and what you feel like you're missing, we're able to advocate for that. I don't even know if I've answered that question or not, but.
There's like 6 questions, that's great, thank you.
Just a quick question, sorry. One of the big benefits that you talked about was the mentoring opportunities. And I was just wondering, with that price point, have you considered allowing businesses in the community to sponsor other people's memberships so that they'd be able to afford that? Because, you know, the $189 may be hard for some of the entrepreneurs that are just starting out.
Yes. So I've actually given away memberships for free to people who I feel like are going to be either value adds to the community. I heavily seek out individuals of color, individuals in the nonprofit space. I feel like those groups are generally underrepresented, just given a price point. But at the end of the day, you have to run a business. So how will you be able to sustain a brick and mortar space like the Nelle if I give away membership for free? So it's, you know, we have companies that are interested in branding opportunities. Company memberships are $5,000 individual, but for companies, it's more about exposing their people to that built-in network already versus them having to try and create a culture for themselves inside of our space. So we've been able to, by partnering like with Women's Foundation, we've partnered with Moxa, Big Brothers Big Sisters. Those individuals are already very talented at mentorship and connecting in the community. If I'm able to bring them in, they've built in partnerships as well, but also for you know, educating our community on what's the difference between a mentor and a sponsor. And it's almost clunky to ask someone to mentor you. We really feel like if you're able to develop relationships, the mentorship and the sponsorship are natural. So by not doing programming and almost just bringing in the right people, we feel like we're a great culture fit. We believe that those relationships will happen naturally, and people will automatically start generating ideas of, oh my gosh, let's bring in 15 girls out of high school and talk to them about, you know, what it means to be in business. How do you start your own company? Where do you start? Can we tap into resources that are already out there? There's free organizations. There's, you know, the Casey Source Link. There's, you know, Central Exchange has tons of programming. Why do we not tap into these other networks? We can help just provide more information out there for people who have different needs at different times.
Okay, final question.
May I just, sorry.
Final question.
That part was awesome. So I just want to say, sir, thank you for that question, because that really got to the heart of kind of what I had asked before, how you are connecting that mission with running the business. So aside from advertising that you're sponsoring some memberships, but that whole everything else that you're talking about is fantastic in joining those two components of what you're doing. So sir, thank you for that question.
Xander, no, final question. What can we as a community do for you? Sure.
If you know of movers and shakers, I would love to meet them. Men or female, male or female, men or female. Even if they're 12 years old, I want to know them. Woo!
Fantastic. Let's give her a hand. I want to remind you of free co-working all day over there at the annex. We also have Hush Blackwell, as Kyle said earlier, between 10 and 12 today. We will see you next week. We're going to have accessible living and lunch crate publishing. Thank you.